Alright, here is one very fun build. It's a Vanguard melee build focused on melee attacks and a couple of biotic powers. This build will make you a tank that hits really hard. So let's get to it. Let's get to ins and outs of the build and how it works. Obviously, from profile you're going to want the Vanguard profile because it gives you more melee damage, more melee force, more biotic recharge, speed, max shields, and melee attacks will restore shields as well. The combination that I'm using in this build is a combination of an Omni Grenade, Singularity Field, and Charge. Charge being the most important one. You can play around with options, with passives, that's how you like it. You don't have to do it exactly like I did, but this works fantastically. So what I do, I put the Singularity Field on enemies, then I throw in an Omni Grenade into that Singularity Field, and then I charge in so that I get biotic detonation, because Singularity Field primes enemies for biotic detonation, and then you go in with the charge to trigger that detonation. And you also have an explosion from a grenade, and you also have an explosion in the end from the Singularity Field. So a lot of damage in that small field. Let's talk about some of the passives. For the Omni Grenade, go what you want. For these passives I went with more health regeneration and more shield regeneration, and here I went with +1 to all combat power cell capacity, because I want a lot of grenades. Because when you throw these grenades that are really powerful, you can spam them, and when you throw more grenades into the Singularity Field, you can do a lot of damage against bosses and whatnot. As for the last one, I went with low health damage resistance, because we're not using a lot of cover. We're rushing from an enemy to an enemy with charge, and then we will lose health eventually. And when it drops down to a low amount, we will have boosted resistance, which is fantastic. We won't die easily, even without shields. I went with more resistance while evading here on combat tools. And for the rank 5, go whatever you want. I went with jump melee damage, but yeah, up to you really. It doesn't work that well, the melee with jump, unless you're using it as a shockwave when you drop down. As for the rank 6, you get melee bonus per hit, melee bonus per kill, and maximum melee bonus, that is percentage, as you can see. And it's a chain, basically it's a chain reaction. So as long as you're punching people and killing stuff around, you will have maximum bonus from melee attacks, which is a really good bonus. Really powerful bonus. That's why this is a melee build. It's more powerful than any of the weapons. As for the charge, which is our primary thing here, I went with melee damage bonus here on rank 5. I went with first one that increases damage and whatnot, I forgot. Or you can go for rank 5 for power damage bonus or power force bonus, up to you really. For the rank 6, definitely go for the second one, called Bastion, which means that it will restore plus 50% more shields, and you will get plus 35% damage boost. So you can see all these percentages that accumulate. Now, I'm not sure if these things stack. If they don't stack, then I fucked up, but I think they stack. There's no way how I can test this out, if they stack or not. But from the damage that I'm doing with melee attacks, I would say that they do stack. But I need some confirmation of all of it. So that's why I'm saying you can play around with options. For the Singularity, go for the more radius. You don't need duration at all here. Go for the plus 25% recharge speed, because it recharges slowly, unfortunately. And I went for the last one that gives you more force and more area damage. For offensive biotics, I went with biotic recharge speed so that we can use for charge and Singularity more often. For rank 5, I've used plus 25 biotic detonator damage bonus because we're constantly using biotic detonators, and we have plus 40% all combo radius, which complements nicely into that singularity field and everything that comes with it. And now for the last one, you can go for melee force, melee damage, or you can go for the first one, it's up to you. I just buffed my melee to max with all the boosts. But as I said, I need confirmation that it does stack. There's a lack of numbers in the game which I cannot comprehend why we can't see damage numbers. That way I would definitely be able to see what kind of damage I'm doing and what would be better. But I cannot. Maybe I haven't found that option, but I really don't know what's the damage that I'm dealing. As for the rank 4, for the containment, go for what you want. Here, if you level up further, I would definitely suggest containment bonuses, or you can choose your preferred weapon and go for the preferred weapon bonuses from the combat tree. Up to you, as I said. There's a lot of flexibility with this build. That's a beautiful thing about it, and everything is powerful. Now as for the loadout, as you can see, I'm using the N7 armor. It gives you more biotic power and it gives you more shields. You can go also that heavy armor called Hyper something. It gives you more health and more shields. But I like this one that gives me more biotic power. As for the loadout, I'm using only one weapon so that I have power recharge speed at 100%. I'm not using even weapons at all, unless I have to shoot the flying things, because flying things are harder to kill than ground things. I already explained why I'm using the N7. And that's it. That's for the build. Now let's see it in action. I'll give you a couple of examples versus various enemies and what I'm doing. As you can see, I'm throwing the singularity field, I'm throwing the grenade. And for a grenade I put up plus 50% damage versus armor, because I have singularity and charge to help me out with shields, but versus armor I don't have anything in particular, so I went with that passive skill for the Omni Grenade. Another case, another Rykor, and the normal Raider, which dies really quickly thanks to all the melee buffs that I have. So I put singularity, I throw in an Omni Grenade, I rush in with charge, and I spam triangle for an attack, for a melee attack. And afterwards I detonate the field if need be with L1 button. It's always recommended to detonate the field if you see that the enemies are dead, so that it starts to recharge quickly. Because as long as the detonation field is active, the singularity field is active, you will not be able to recharge it. The only problem with this build are the floating enemies. There you're probably going to have to use shotgun if you don't kill them immediately. But most times you even won't have to do that if they're not too high above the ground. Build works perfectly. This is all on hardcore difficulty. Very tough enemies. This is where you need to defeat the cat base. And there's an Invictor boss. At the end I will show you how much damage I've dealt to him in a single attempt, in a single combo, in the end of the video. But you can understand what I'm doing here. Whenever you use charge on an enemy, you will restore your shields. You always need to have that in mind. So that's why you constantly need to use charge. It does damage and recharges your shields, it gives you boost to a melee attack, and it gives you damage resistance as well. It's as good offensively as it is defensively. And here's the final boss. And that will be it for the build, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I really like the build, it's a lot of fun. And I'll be doing a lot more in the near future. Thanks for watching.